The nation's heart swells with pride whenever the Indian Space Research Organization, or ISRO, is mentioned. It's not just about the Mars orbit mission, but it's about a lot of other contributions that essentially go to improving lives of common people like you and me. And for that, ISRO has just received the Gandhi Peace Prize as well, and we have the pleasure of having the Department of Space Secretary and ISRO Chairman joining us, AS Kiran Kumar. So welcome to the show. Congratulations for receiving the honor. What does it really mean to you to be placed in the same league as individuals like Nelson Mandela? Does that connote both an honor and a responsibility as well?
No, definitely it's a great recognition of an organization which got initiated with primarily with the objective of bringing in the newer technology of space technology for addressing the specific problems of the country. And people like Vikram Sarabhai, when they started this, they dreamed of bringing in the space technology for the country's benefit. The points they had in mind, the ideas they had, have all been actually greatly recognized by today's this Gandhi Peace Prize, which has been given, because ISRO definitely cherishes its work because it is dedicated to bringing in the new technology of space, through which communication, remote sensing, Earth observation, and practically all aspects of life in the country has been touched by different activities of ISRO. And for us, this recognition by the Government of India is really a redeeming one, because it recognizes the work that ISRO has done over the last 4 decades in bringing in a very new technology.
So you mentioned the last 4 decades because people know about the Mars orbiter mission, but just tell us about, if you can tell us 5 biggest achievements of ISRO in the last 4 decades, which really speak to this purpose that ISRO has been defined, that you help improve the lives of common people.
Yeah, I think the very first program which was started way back in 1975 was what is called a SITE, Satellite Instructional Television Experiment. It was this experiment which was a path-breaking experiment conducted anywhere in the world, where in about 2,400 odd villages of India, today's equivalent of direct to home was attempted at that point of time way back in 75. You may recall that at that time hardly any place in the country had television services available. Probably the 4 metros were there. At that point of time, it was demonstrated to the country that you can reach out to the villagers and then communicate to them the requirements of the village health, education, and also farming practices. So this was the first experiment that was conducted, which was a forerunner for our INSAT series of satellites and also the meteorological satellites which were done. The 2 major things was, from that time gradually the outreach of the government to the public and public access for broadcasting reached 100%.
And in the present and in the future, because we just had a national meet where space technology could be used in improving governance and development as well. ISRO needs to act as a catalyst for development for the country. Could you tell us about, in practical terms, what can people look to having in the near future in terms of what will improve their lives? We've heard about improved railway safety, we've heard about better transport facilities, more eco-friendly transport facilities.
Yeah, just before that, I also would like to touch upon a couple of issues before that. See, the space observation capabilities that was established was able to demonstrate to the country how this new technology can bring in benefits. One of them is the fishermen. For example, using the space technology, the fishermen are being told from 1999, in fact, that where to look for fishing, and then which solve significant amount of fuel problem and also the time required for them to go to the place and then pick up the fish catch. Then similarly, in terms of the water availability on the groundwater, borewell drilling, what was earlier probably less than 50% success rate, based on the space technology information, people were provided information about where to look for drilling the wells. So this, and then in terms of crop information, crop yield assessment, and the urban development and planning. So a host of activities were being done. And today, for example, what with the virtue of our Earth observation satellite system and also the Gagan. Gagan is a way by which safety of life assured positioning information is made accessible. using this and also the latest technology of communication, crowdsourcing and accessing to the geospatial portals of Bhuvan, the kind of applications that are being worked out are enormous. And like you mentioned, one of them is with the railway safety, finding a way of making sure that the unmanned level crossings are brought to focus and the engine driver gets well in advance the information about that, and then avoiding accidents that could occur in those places. And also the railways making use of the complete information in a big way in their own planning, and then tracking the both the passenger traffic as well as the luggage and the.
So would you say that for space technology to adapt it to the use of the government, the possibilities are endless, even in government's flagship programs like Namami Gange, Digital India, Swachh Bharat, it'll be of tremendous use?
Yeah, definitely. One of the key things is what the space technology is able to do is it's able to give a overarching picture of the things. Whether when you are looking for a planning at, let's say, in terms of communication traffic, or whether you are planning road transport, the new corridors that are being planned for, let's say, Bombay-Delhi corridor, this kind of planning, the information about the digital elevation model of the country, and also the environmental conditions and the way certain water bodies can be harvested for various activities, including, for example, for tribal fishing ponds. And then so it's endless, and it's only the imagination of the people who are going to use that is going to limit the activity. In fact, it is in this context you should recall what Prime Minister says about how the younger generation and the newer generation can make use of this information base and coming up with innovative solutions. The possibilities are tremendous and endless.
Even in internet connectivity.
Yeah, even in terms of through the connectivity, for example, now we'll be working on how to bring in broadband connectivity through space technology using the newer methods of communication systems. So actually the kind of work that can be done is endless, but what will remain a issue will be our ability to actually build the capacity within the country for increasing the number of launches that we are going to make.
And what ISRO is or can offer for the future will be far more net neutral than anything else.
Yeah, of course, this net neutrality doesn't come with the technology, it comes only with the usage.
Yes.
So the basic infrastructure itself is never decisive or biased. It's how people use it that makes it differently. So otherwise ISRO is committed to bringing in new technology and then enhancing the capabilities in all these areas, whether it's communication, navigation or earth observation, and also bringing in the faster mode of disseminating the information. So today one of the things that we are also looking at is for space-based information system for decentralized planning, where the actual planning could be done right at the Sarpanch village panchayat level, and then they are being given access to this process of planning. And we are trying to roll out this in a very big manner so that all the Sarpanchs have access to the information and then asset creation. So this is an endless possibility, and it's really our government's endeavor to make sure that these technologies are practically brought to use so that the flagship programs roll out quickly, they can monitor the progress, and then they can disseminate even the activity.
So now, since this basically involves sharing of technology, be it within government or even outside, are there going to be sufficient safeguards as well so that this proprietary information is not misused either commercially or strategically?
No, definitely what you say has a point, but at the same time, to certain extent we have to forego this, because if you try to bring in too many restrictions, the actual rolling out takes much longer time, and then maybe sometimes it becomes obsolete by the time you start using it.
Okay, but there will be a National Space Act.
Yeah, there will be, actually we are working on certain activities on this and bringing out the information dissemination, how it can be done, how it should be scoped. This is also in the pipeline.
All right, we'll take a short break at this point, sir, and then we'll talk about the ISRO's other projects as well, its commercial expansion and the scope for exploring space the way it's meant to be as well. We're taking a short break on Candid Conversation at this point. Stay tuned for more with Mr. Kiran Kumar.
भारत संचार निगम लिमिटेड यानी बीएसएनएल ने अपनी मोबाइल सेवा पर देश भर में रोमिंग फ्री कर दी है। पूरी फैमिली के रिश्तों को जोड़ दिया है। अब ज्यादा सिम कार्ड और ज्यादा हैंडसेट से मिला छुटकारा। इनकमिंग के चलते देश भर में रोमिंग फ्री, जितनी चाहे बातें करो। One nation, one number. To join BSNL, dial toll-free number 1800-180-1503. BSNL, हिंदुस्तान बोल रहा है।
सरिता जी, इन दिनों आप अपने खान पान का ध्यान तो रखती हैं ना? अरे ये क्या, भोजन में साधारण नमक? आयोडीन युक्त नमक का इस्तेमाल करें। आपके शरीर में आयोडीन की कमी से आपका शिशु शारीरिक और मानसिक रूप से कमजोर हो सकता है। आयोडीन नमक इन सारी परेशानियों से आपको बचा सकता है। ये नमक बाजार में आसानी से उपलब्ध है। बच्चों को हंसता खेलता बचपन दें, अपनी संतान का भविष्य संवारें।
सवारी जिंदगी चुटकी भर नमक, आयोडीन नमक।
सॉरी यार, मुझे ये लड्डू नहीं मिला।
खास चीजें हों या इन्वेस्टमेंट, अलग अलग जगहों पर रखने में ही समझदारी है। इसीलिए म्यूचुअल फंड्स या आपके पैसों को अलग अलग जगहों पर इन्वेस्ट कर मार्केट के रिस्क को कम करते हैं। म्यूचुअल फंड, सेविंग का नया तरीका। म्यूचुअल फंड निवेश बाजार जोखिमों के अधीन है। योजना से जुड़े सभी दस्तावेजों को ध्यान से पढ़ें।
बढ़ा कदम तू, बढ़ा कदम, तेरे साथ साथ तेरा देश बढ़ रहा है। बढ़ा कदम तू, बढ़ा कदम, ये तेरा योगदान है जो विश्व में नाम है। ये देश तेरे टैक्स से छू रहा आसमां है। तेरे टैक्स से ही चलेगा ये वतन। बढ़ा कदम।
आप कदम बढ़ाइए अपना आयकर देकर। अपना एडवांस टैक्स अदा करें इस महीने की 15 तारीख तक। आयकर विभाग द्वारा जारी।
Welcome back. You're with Candid Conversation, and we're in conversation with the Department of Space Secretary and ISRO Chairman, A.S. Kiran Kumar. Sir, before we took the break, we were talking about how ISRO's technology can be used for the common man. But let's talk about ISRO now in terms of what it is doing to revolutionize India's position in the community of nations as far as exploration and the use of space is concerned, and especially commercially, because that's on a completely different level now from what we could even compare with 5 years ago.
Yeah, one of the things is, see, as the usage of the space technology and its tools keeps increasing, one of the requirement is we need more capacity and capability. So today when we started, we had maybe a few gap between the launches was few years. Now it has come down to 4 to 5 launches per year, and very soon we want to target almost 10 launches per year, and even then we will be inadequate.
We're adding launch facilities
launch
as well.
Capabilities. And by reducing the time between the launches and then bringing in more satellite technology, etc. But then to make this happen, we need within the country a tremendous capability increase. So we need more and more of the subsystems to be sourced from the industry. Today we are working on mechanisms by which we can probably engage a complete industry consortium to do the work of like PSLV launch from end to end right up to the integration in Sriharikota. So unless we bring in tremendous capability within the country's industry, our ability to provide greater infrastructure for usage in the country will be limited.
How far is the scope? So if we look at it 5 years down the line, in terms of ISRO, which is already earning a lot of money from foreign space agencies and other entities that are interested in space, now the private sector is also being given a lot of space. What is likely to be India's share in the market, say in 5 years? It's a $200 billion industry, I believe.
Yeah, of course, how much will be our share will purely depend on how well we are able to bring in the industry capacity in the usage. That's why one other thing we are trying to look at is whether we can maybe 3 to 4 years down the line have an industrial consortium in the India actually doing the entire launch vehicle integration and launching at Sriharikota. That's the kind of thing we are working on. If such a thing happens, then the today's tremendous opportunity that is available both for low Earth orbiting satellite putting into orbit and also geostationary satellite being put into orbit, like our GSLV Mark II and later Mark III.
Yes.
This is a tremendous opportunity at this point, because globally the space commerce is taking off. People are talking of building hundreds of satellites and then launching them in a year. So both in terms of the Indian industry's opportunity as well as the industry's opportunity to service India as well as abroad, there is a tremendous scope. So we are trying to work and then bring in a environment where some of the technology what we have developed, we will make it accessible to the Indian industry. They can supply not only to the ISRO's program but also to international programs.
So how much of this has really to do with what is ISRO's USP really in among all the premier space agencies, that it can make something in millions what others charge to make in billions?
Yeah, one of the key things in this is the kind of dedicated effort that the ISRO team puts in and also the teamwork it does. The primary reason why ISRO has been able to do is the end goal of that is very clear. End goal of ISRO is to bring in this technology for societal benefit. So when you are looking at a program where at the end of the day whatever work you have done actually benefits the common man in their daily lives, so it is one of the tremendous boost in the working environment for the people. And second thing of course is, in comparison with the developed nations, the cost at which the human services talent is available is significantly lower.
And would you say that it was Mangalyaan which was the eye-opener as far as this aspect is concerned for the world?
No, actually, while Mangalyaan brought in a lot of visibility globally, but all the space agencies and the various forums did know that India is one of the space agencies which has been working all along for bringing in this technology for societal benefits, and everywhere ISRO is recognized as the #1 applicant who has brought in tremendous capabilities of space technology for
which is why we're working with NASA as well, or NASA wants to work with us, and we are having a joint venture for NISAR by 2021.
So this one of course is much more happened after the Chandrayaan mission, where the 2 of the NASA payloads were put on the Chandrayaan orbiter, and then the finding of water on the moon surface was one of the key things which changed, and then our own ability to put synthetic aperture radar RISAT when we launched in 2013 2012 for example. That is when the NASA's approach changed, and then now we are working on a very new concept. This NISR is a concept first of its kind which is going to be attempted, and it's going to bring in tremendous capability both for us and to the global community in terms of synthetic aperture radar usage. In 2021 is the expected launch of the satellite, and this will give us, for example, ability to study the change on the surface of Earth to the tune of few centimeters, which will give a tremendous advantage for studying the earthquake and deformations on the surface, and then bringing in higher ability to understand the earthquake phenomena. That is one of the things, and for us it is also going to provide biomass estimation and also our agricultural products.
Would it be possible to predict earthquakes?
No, it's not. Prediction is still a distance away, but what this gives us tremendous opportunity, because very frequently you are able to make the surface change studies, then you can correlate lot of things, and then it lead to a future and better understanding and maybe better predictability in the future. But initially it is going to provide a tremendous information for R&D on seismic studies. Apart from that, for us it will also give us the biomass estimation, and also for our crop yield estimations during the cloudy seasons and the monsoon seasons, ability to study the various crop activities in the country. So that's why we are also very keen, and globally it will provide better than 5-day revisit of the entire world at a very high resolutions. So this is going to be a tremendous capability.
Could you also tell us something a little bit more about the other exciting projects that ISRO has in terms of say the regional GPS which will become operational next year?
Yes, see, right now we have 4 of the satellites up in space and operating, and by March of 2016 we intend to complete the constellation of 7 satellites, and later this 7 satellite constellation will be further increased to maybe 9 or 11, But basically, once the seven satellite constellation gets completed, we will have the ability to provide in our own independent geographic positioning system to 1500 kilometers around our borders. So this is going to be a significant development for us. And in addition to that, today already we have safety of life assured positioning information, which makes use of the American GPS system in its backdrop. But then our own payloads which are operating today, and GSAT 15, which is going to go up in November, will carry one more payload for Gagan. And with this it will be dedicated operational service. Already, as you are aware, we are only the 4th country in the globe to provide such service for the aircraft. Today, both in terms of en route planning and then for precision landing, this is being used. And it has got tremendous applications in a host of other activities from railways, transport and other sections. Then apart from that, just this month on the 28th, we are going to launch AstroSat, which is another science mission, which is also globally being looked up to, because it is in a single platform. So many telescopes operating from X-ray to UV is being provided in this. And after that, we are working on Chandrayaan 2, which will have our own lander and rover, an object which will be landed on the surface of the moon and make some in situ observation. Then beyond this, we are currently put study teams to look at what kind of future missions we should do, whether we should go for a Venus mission or another Mars mission, or even asteroids, and then what should be that. So the study teams are looking at that. And one of the questions you were asking earlier is internationally, see, our Mars mission, what it has done is it has actually enthused so many of our neighboring countries, including UAE, etc., who are now looking for working with us to on their new Mars programs. See, some of the space agencies want to start their space program with Mars mission today.
Would there be a timeline to this, sir, a definite timeline to these projects, say the explorative mission to Venus, or you said Chandrayaan 2, there is already a timeline there. And what would be the purpose? Because Chandrayaan 1 is credited with discovery of frozen water. What are the possibilities with Chandrayaan 2?
No, Chandrayaan 2 is like we are building a newer capability of putting a lander onto the surface of moon, which requires actually throttleable engine development, which allows slow descent of an object onto the surface of the moon. And then on the surface itself, there are a number of experiments which are being conducted. And then in Chandrayaan 2, we are going to actually make much more detailed studies on the surface of moon, where the water, actually the various processes that are supposed to be happening, how intense they are and what regions are more active. So we will be carrying forward our studies from the previous Chandrayaan mission. And then the other planetary missions, what we are talking about, of course, each one of them will have their own timeline. For example, you are aware that Mars every 2.5 to 3 years is the interval where the most optimum timeline comes. So in each of these missions, there are certain specific timelines we have to look at. But once we firm up our action plan, then we will work towards those programs.
All right. And so what about the reusable space launch vehicle? That is something that is, I think, more immediate than the others.
While that is a requirement, that is, you have to keep reducing the cost of access to space, because you need to put more and more observation system, more and more communication system. So the cost of launching is always an issue. So you need to progressively work towards reducing the cost of access to launch. And in that context only, all these reusable launch vehicle, technology demonstrator program, etc., we are working on. But we are still a fair distance away from bringing in this new access, low-cost access. It's a continuous process, and we are only in the first steps of that. We are working on a demonstrator experiment which will bring in a 1/6 model, the scale model of the wing body. So the work is in progress on that.
Since cost is a factor in all this, it's an expensive business exploring space. Are you also looking at an alternate revenue stream? You have the commercial revenue stream already, where we've launched more than 40 satellites for other space agencies using the PSLV. But technology sharing, are you looking at that as a revenue stream as well?
Yeah, in fact, while we bring in many of these capabilities, we have got a lot of spin-off technologies which are coming. And these spin-off technologies, we are now making it available to the Indian industry. And this is a continuous process. Not only in one is a spin-off technology where it has got direct use, but there are also many capabilities which will have indirect use when you bring in, for example, lightweight materials. So these lightweight materials can act as artificial limbs for the human beings, and many of the pumps that are designed, they can have different functionalities. So we are trying to establish a mechanism where we can bring out our technologies, make it accessible to the Indian industry. We are reaching out to the industry through our portals, industry portals of the various centers that we have. So this is a continuous process, but we need to accelerate many of these, and we also need to accelerate the way we reach out to the public and the students, and then enthuse in them the work on the space technology and the tremendous opportunity that is available for the student community to do their own innovative solutions. So we are looking at ways and means of bringing in these new capabilities and enthusiasm.
Working together with the HRD ministry.
Yes.
And so, if I could ask you, because we are also looking to collaborate with our neighbours, there's a SARC satellite which the PM had proposed. How is the progress on that? Are all the SARC neighbours on board as far as that project is concerned?
Yeah, basically everybody has agreed, yes, it's a good idea, it's a tremendous opportunity to interlink the various states and then contribute in terms of disaster monitoring, meteorology, and also bringing in the fruits of remote sensing on this thing. And currently the interactions are there with the various ministries of these states, and we are working towards bringing out the satellite by end of next year.
Well, that sounds great, sir. They say that sky is the limit for most things, but as far as ISRO is concerned, I believe sky is just the beginning. There are so many galaxies to explore and a galaxy of possibilities to explore, and we hope that ISRO in the coming years does great things for the nation. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Chat.
Thanks a lot.